Alright, the prompt for this assignment is to define what awareness means to you. What do you want to become aware of as a dancer, a student dancer, a performer, and as a creator? So for me, awareness is being able to consciously notice and observe things, because we're always unconsciously noting these things, whether it's light outside or rainy, whether the lights are on or suddenly it's darker than it used to be. If your jacket's on the floor, you notice those things, but you're not consciously trying to notice them. Awareness, though, is being able to consciously notice that. It's going through the motions, but noticing things that are different, things that have changed, and doing it on purpose. And that's really important in dance, I think, especially, because you have to notice if something's gone wrong or if something's gone right. So you have to be able to break those steps down and know what you've done right that was different than all the other times that you may have struggled with something. So that's something I want to do as a dancer. I want to be able to be constantly aware, to know what I've done wrong, to be able to feel that, and to know when I've done something right. So I do it sometimes. I'll notice, wow, I landed that turn really great. Let's see if I can do it again. And then I don't, because I wasn't constantly noticing that before. I wasn't able to break down those steps. So that's something I'd like to become aware of as a dancer. As a student dancer, I want to be more aware of the people around me. I probably should do that as a regular dancer too, but I think there's a lot you can learn from just watching the people around you, watching the other dancers near you, and I'd like to become more aware of that, because I usually try to just focus on myself. I've had a habit in the past of comparing myself to others, and that doesn't really help anyone. So I'd like to be able to just be aware of how differently they do things and different techniques that may help me that have helped them in the past. As a performer, I'd like to be more aware of the space around me and how my movements affect those, because a lot of times I'll take bigger steps than I mean to and run out of that space, especially if you're in a smaller practice space and suddenly you're trying to do a side kick, but you're right up against the wall and you can't do that. So I definitely like to become more aware of the space around me as a performer. And as a creator, I'd like to become more aware of how I look when I do the moves, because when I'm focusing, a lot of times I'll make just weird faces that don't go with the rest of the dance. So if I'm creating a piece, I want to become more aware of how I make the piece look. Generally, I don't think I'll be choreographing for others, so I'd like to just take notice of that for myself, really.